Jai Mahamaya Ki Jai. After a break of 9 days for the Divine Mother Festival, we'll go back to reading the Devi Bhagavatam Retold by Ramesh Menon. And we're on chapter 35, where Indra's wife is searching for Indra. Vedavyasa went on. The Mansarava rippled across the earth like a blessing. Bounded by steep mountains, violet water stretched away as far as Sachi, Indra's wife, could see. Everything here was pure, truly like a dream of Brahma's. As soon as he set her down beside the sacred lake, the Duta of the Divine Mother vanished from her side. A Malaya breeze wafted the scent of lotuses at her, ruffling her hair. Sachi stood hesitant on the banks of the lake. Then a voice spoke to her from the very water, a familiar, beloved voice. It said, "My love, what have happened to you?" he said through his lotus stalk. You are wan and thin, as if you have been wasting from some disease. Sachi, terror gripped me for my sin, and I came and I hid here as a snake away from the eye of all the living. Yet the very water scalded me until I performed my Ashvamedha Yagya. Now I feel lighter. I think that soon I will return to Amravati and to you and rule Devaloka again. Tears flowed down her lovely face and she sobbed, "You may not find me alive when you do, Indra. The Deva's crown, Nahusha, king in Amravata, and he says my place is in his bed. The Guru hid me until now, but Nahusha threatened to kill him. The others all fear him, for he sits upon your throne, and they even suggest to me that there is no harm in my becoming Nahusha's queen. No one would tell me where you were, but I worship the Devi Bhagavati. She came to me and sent me here with her Duta." Sachi wept piteously, and Indra now appeared before her in his own form and took her in his arms. Wiping her tears with shining fingers, he said, "Sachi, I have been waiting for my time to come. Every day I feel stronger. It won't be long now, I swear to you. I will return and be king in Amravati again. But if we are hasty, all will be lost. You must be patient, Sachi. You must learn to wait. And now you must go back before I am discovered." "She will go back. Nahusha will force himself on me if I return. Who will save me from him? I may as well die if I am not a chaste woman anymore." Indra, who was no novice at adultery, laughed. He said, "Ah, my pure Sachi, you are my savior. My love, the purity of your heart is better protection than a legion of devas guarding you. For lust finds its way past legions and creeps in through the midnight door. I will tell you how to be rid of Nahusha. Listen." Indra had a plan that could not fail, and when she heard it, Sachi was persuaded to return to Devaloka. She went to Nahusha and said, "My lord, I've sought my husband Indra everywhere and could not find him. I will be your queen now. Yet there is one desire I have, so our marriage may be blessed forever." Nahusha trembled with excitement. He cried, "I am king of the Devas. There is no desire of yours I cannot fulfill. Ask me for anything, and it shall be yours." Sachi said, "First swear to me that you will grant what I ask, that not even Indra could give me." "I swear on everything that is holy, on all the tapasya I have performed, that I will give you whatever you want." "My lord, Indra rides on Airavata, Vishnu on Garuda. Rudra's mount is Nandi, the bull. Kartikeya goes on his peacock, and Ganapati upon his mouse. Yama has his buffalo, and Brahma his swan. It is only fit that when you come to take me for your bride, you come on a mount never seen before, one loftier than any of the others, a vehicle that Lord of Heaven deserves." Nahusha looked perplexed. "What might such a mount be, Devi? Is it something Vishvakarman can fashion for me? She said, there is no need to trouble Vishvakarman. I want you to come to me in a palanquin borne by the rishis of Devaloka. No king of any of the three worlds has ever ridden in such a litter, but that you, my lord, are greater king than any other in all time. It is told that the Devi Bhagavati sat on Sachi's sweet tongue and beguiled King Nahusha with vanity, though he was one of the wisest kings ever. Puffed up with pride and delicious anticipation of having this peerless woman in his bed, Nahusha cried, the Saptarishi and all the other Devarishis shall bear my litter when I come to marry you. I am their master. I am master of the worlds. How will they refuse me? Go now, my love, and prepare yourself to become my queen. I will come to you soon, and I will come as you want me to. When Sachi left his presence, Nahusha called the rishis of heaven to him. When they came, he said, Munis, I am lord of Devaloka now, yet Indrani does not sit at my side. She wants me, holy ones, to come to fetch her on a litter borne by you Munis. I beg you, have mercy on me and carry me to her on your shoulders. I am on fire for Indra's wife. I have no sleep at night and no peace by day either. Don't refuse me, rishis, or I shall lose my mind. Out of compassion, the sages agreed. On the eve of the appointed day, word was sent to Sachi to be ready, for Nahusha was coming to marry her in the morning. The rishis were far from happy about the task given them, but they came to Nahusha's palace at the proper time and hoisted his golden palanquin with the king riding in it onto their shoulders. Never had a stranger sight been seen before, and all the devas, Gandharvas, Kanaras, Apsaras, Siddhas, and other brilliant folk of Devaloka crowded the streets of Amravati to watch the progress of this wedding party. Deluded by Mahamaya and Indra's cunning, Nahusha felt a great surge of pride. Which king has ever been borne by the Saptarishi on their backs? Surely there was no other man like him in all eternity. And then he was gripped by tumultuous excitement as well. In a brief hour, the perfect Sachi would be his. The very thought made him dizzy, for he had spent months dreaming of her. Sarpa, Sarpa, shouted Nahusha to the Munis, staggering along under his considerable weight, which meant hurry, hurry. But then Sarpa also means serpent. When they came within sight of Sachi's palace, Nahusha could not contain himself. He seized a whip that lay in his litter and began to flick it at the rishis who bore the front of the palanquin. Awesome Agastya was one of those Munis. Agastya, who had devoured the Rakshasa Vatapi, Agastya, who had drained the very ocean at a gulp once, blinded with lust and vanity, Nahusha dared to strike that greatest of rishi with his whip, saying, Sarpa, Sarpa, to him. Nahusha had seen Sachi at a window of her palace, and the very sight of her drove him mad. He was determined to impress her, to show her he was a greater king than Indra had ever been. But when Agastya felt those strokes of Nahusha's whip on his back, the Muni's eyes blazed like fire. The king cried again, Sarpa! Whirling around in wrath, Agastya cursed Nahusha. Arrogant king, be born a Sarpa. Fall down into the earth below and be a serpent for an age. Slither like a worm on your belly and live on the flesh of wild creatures in the forest. Terror seized Nahusha. He begged the Muni, forgive me, Lord, I meant no harm. Withdraw your curse. But Agastya said, a rishi's curse can never be withdrawn. But one day, after an age, when you hold the strongest man on earth in your coils and mean to devour him, his brother Yudhishthira, will answer your riddle on Dharma, and you will be free again and return to Devaloka. From Yudhishthira, you will learn the lessons of humility, vain Nahusha. Until then, be a snake. Nahusha felt an eerie transformation come over him. He felt a serpent's emerald scales glisten on his skin. Fervently, he began to hymn Agastya Muni, but as he did, his voice turned strange. It was a serpent's hiss. Then, as Sachi and all the devas watched, astonished, Nahusha fell out of his golden palanquin and down through the sky. As he fell, he became a great python, 100 feet long, his head as big as an elephant's. Down he fell, still hissing Agastya's name, into into a tree in a forest of the earth. He lay there stunned for some days, coiled in the branches of the tree. When he awoke, he remembered nothing of how he came to be here or of who he had been before. All he knew was that he was a huge constrictor, and the lust of the hunt stirred powerfully in his belly. When Nahusha fell out of heaven, Brihaspati flew to Mansarava, bringing word of what had happened to Indra. Soon all the devas arrived on the banks of the sacred lake and asked Indra to return with them to Amravati and be king of the 3 realms again. Indra abandoned his snake's form and went back to Devaloka. A grand investiture was performed in the crystal Sudharma, and having paid in most part for his crime of Brahmahatya, of killing Vishvakarma's 2 sons, Indra assumed the ruby throne of heaven again, with the chaste and lovely Sachi beside him. From then it is told that both the Deva king and his queen were fervent bhaktis of the Divine Mother, Devi Bhagavati, for they had no doubt that in their darkest hours, the greatest goddess, the Mother, had not deserted them, though Indra had paid in full with terror and exile for his crime. Vedavyasa said, Jai Mahamaya ki jai, Vishveshwari Mata ki jai, Bole Baba ki jai.